asked my mother-in-law for advice on how she dealt with her husband's affair after she said I needed to work on my marriage when her son cheated on me. I found out Matthew cheated when I got diagnosed with chlamydia at a walk-in clinic on a random Tuesday. I sat in my car in the parking lot for 20 minutes before I could even drive home. When I confronted him, he didn't deny it. He just started crying and saying it was a mistake, that it meant nothing. Except it wasn't one mistake. Once I started digging through his phone, I found 3 different women over 2 years. Texts, photos, a whole second life he'd been living right next to mine. I filed for divorce 2 weeks later. His mother, Linda, owns the house we rented from her, $1,100 a month, way under what the place is actually worth. She's the kind of mother-in-law who lets herself in with her own key and shows up with Tupperware and opinions nobody asked for. The day I started packing boxes, she walked right in without knocking. I was in the bedroom wrapping picture frames in newspaper when she sat down on the edge of the bed like she still lived there. She said I was giving up too easy. She said marriages go through rough patches, and I owed it to Matthew, to our life together, to at least try counseling before throwing it all away. I kept wrapping frames. I didn't say anything for a minute because I was trying not to scream at her. Then I remembered something Matthew let slip 2 years ago during a fight, back when things were still mostly good between us. He told me his dad Frank had an affair with a woman from his old job, some receptionist, and it almost ended his parents' marriage 5 years back. He begged me never to bring it up because his mom was still sensitive about it and didn't know that he knew. So I set the frame down and looked at Linda. I said, "Since you think I need to work on my marriage, how did you deal with it when Frank cheated on you? Since you're the expert here." She went white. She started stammering, asking what I was even talking about, saying she had no idea what I meant. I told her I knew. I told her Matthew told me years ago and made me promise never to say anything, and I never did, not once, not even when things got bad between us. But if she wanted me to fight for my marriage the way she supposedly fought for hers, I needed some pointers. She stood up so fast she knocked a stack of folded shirts off my dresser. She didn't say another word, she just left, and I heard her car tires squeal out of the driveway a second later. I found out what happened next from Matthew's sister. Linda drove straight to Frank's office and confronted him in front of his coworkers. Frank denied it at first, then admitted it, then tried to say it was ancient history and didn't matter anymore. Linda screamed at him for almost an hour, according to the front desk girl who watched the whole thing happen. Then she called Matthew. Matthew swore up and down he never told me anything, which made it worse, because now Linda thought her own son had been lying to her face for years, covering for his father the whole time. That wasn't even the worst part. A few days later, I went by the house to grab some paperwork from the garage, and Frank was out there alone. He got weirdly talkative, like he needed to explain himself to somebody. He told me he used to cover for Matthew on Saturdays, telling Linda the two of them were out golfing together, when really Matthew was somewhere else entirely. Same thing with the overnight fishing trips twice a year. Frank set up the whole alibi so his son could disappear without anyone asking questions. 2 cheaters covering for each other for years, and Linda had no clue any of it was happening right under her roof. Linda called me that Friday night. She didn't apologize, not exactly, but she sounded different, smaller. She told me she filed for divorce from Frank that morning. She said she needed time to think about who she'd actually been protecting all these years without even knowing it. I was loading my last boxes into my car Saturday morning when Matthew showed up at the house, banging on the door so hard the neighbor's dog started going off. His face was red. He said I destroyed his family, that none of this was my business, that I should have just kept my mouth shut like he originally asked me to. I stood there in the driveway holding a box of kitchen stuff and looked right at him. I told him he cheated on me, gave me an STD, then had the nerve to ask me to stay quiet while his mother lectured me about working on my marriage. I told him I didn't destroy anything. I just stopped covering for him the exact same way his father always did. I put the box in my trunk, got in the car, and pulled out of the driveway while he was still standing on the porch yelling my name.